Hello, how you doing? Good afternoon, guests and friends. Welcome to, this is the first edition of Wealth Warrior, and also my introduction to ASEA, which is a new amazing product that I've started utilizing. Um, it's also, today I want to introduce two of my guests, Jay Matta, and I'd like first to introduce Jay of Spiritually Raw. He basically produces this podcast with his lovely wife, April. And that's how I basically found them and was starting listening to some of their broadcasts, became very interested in those, and it was just been very impactful. I also want to introduce Daniel Matthews. She's a biologist and diamond executive at ASEA and has one of the most powerful stories I've ever heard in terms of just her body being healed and then just a renewal in her entire self. Um, so first of all, I want to basically start this off by saying, Jay, one of the things we've talked about before in terms of something along this line like ASEA, this new product, which I find very amazing, is that there was the possibility of utilizing this to help us go into the 5D economy. Not only being this it heals the body in a certain way, or just elevates your frequency and vibration. It also creates a vehicle for us to have new incomes, multiple streams of income. So it's just an amazing product all the way around in terms of how it just transforms a person's life. So I want you to speak on that in terms of what has been the impact in your life in terms of you and your wife, and then also speak on the whole concept of the 5D economy.
So, well, first of all, thanks for having me be part of this experience with you, brother, and God bless you on yours. So the thing that attracted us about this is the fact that when you take this and when people start to experience the ASEA, it's almost like you know that movie Limitless? It's like it opens up those molecules for you. Okay, so it opens up these molecules and it opens up something in the world that gets you back into the source. So, for example, like for me personally, and I don't know if you're getting feedback on the other end there, but
yeah, I think that maybe when you speak, it's coming back through, so you might have to mute out on Jason.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, cool. So it's all good, everybody. It's internet highway. So man, my experience has really been with me in April as we started taking ASEA. The reason we took it, number one, is our decision was this. We did not take it comparing it to other supplements. So we didn't say, okay, here's another supplement. We're going to add this to our supplement. This is going to be better than this supplement. It's not. It's different. It's a completely different thing. It's a completely different experience. It's kind of like if you're eating peanut butter and jelly, it's weird without the bread. You know what I mean? It's like it's another part of component. It's another component that your body needs to make it all work, right? So in and of itself, what we found out, which I think a lot of people are finding out, that supplements, if you would, they're great, but most people you talk to, man, they just can't figure out, hey, what's working? When is it working? How is it working? And again, that's not to diminish what the supplements are. It's just that there needs to be a driving force to that I believe is the missing link. And I believe that missing link has showed up in the name in the form of ASEA. Okay. So taking that, just because and Danielle can speak better to this than I can, but taking that with the essence of that, it helps bring those cells come alive. And so they start to communicate with each other. So when people take their other stuff, it kind of transmit that messaging better, if you would. So anyway, we noticed that stuff. So along the way, we noticed very radically, Edward, within a very short period of time, we noticed things like no discomfort, like no traditional discomforts that people, feel, just an immense sense of clarity. So when you talk about the 5D, just really getting tapped into not just talking about it, but absolutely feeling that source level of consciousness at a very different level, like not just talking about it, but feeling it. So really feeling like, okay, wow, I'm really one with the universe stream right now. So when you're one with the universe stream, which I believe ASEA is a big part of making that happen, it's opened up that possibility. I mean, I think that all the there's so much out there that evidence that says, okay, we only use 10% of our brain. Maybe this opened up 11 or 12%. I don't know, but it opened up something. There's something else that's opened up, is what I'm saying. So I think that other thing that opened up has tapped us into the source, which has now given us the ability to create as if we are part of that source, like not just in words, not just saying, oh, you can do this, if you can do this. And you know what I mean? This is like real action stuff that's happening right now. So my personal view is that the ASEA is the breakthrough of our lifetime, okay? That is going to absolutely do everything that we've only ever spoke about in theory. It's actually showed up now. So that's the absolute miracle right now. I believe as society, as a collective consciousness, we've manifested this. It showed up somehow, or we were aware of it. It's been embedded into our brains for whatever reason, but we're now here with it. It's here. It's a real thing. It's a real thing. And I don't even call it a real possibility. It's a real thing. It's working. I mean, Danielle's probably helped thousands of people over the years. You know what I mean? It's just so much going on. People's lives are changing. There's a radical anti-aging benefit. You have people constantly, and this is, look, I say I'm 51. I feel like I'm in the body of a 20-year-old, but I'm not the only person saying that. Everybody who's been taking this is getting that same kind of experience. We're all getting younger. We're living younger longer, man. So that is elevating us into that 5D, not necessarily a different place, but a different state of consciousness that allows us to be able to be one with the creator in where we live. So we don't have to die to get there, is what I'm saying. You know what I mean? We can be one with the creator right now in where we live in this 3-dimensional world where we can touch ourselves and still have that same thing. So this allows us to bring 5D down to us.
One of the things I'm going to add to that, Jay, which it's very interesting, because when this whole concept of cellular signaling came into play, I started thinking about it more and more. And it was this whole thing where your cells began to communicate with each other. Like, one of the things that I was reading some scripture, and Jesus was actually saying that the kingdom of God is inside you. And I never really knew what that meant. And then all of a sudden, when I started the whole concept of cellular signaling, allowing the body to communicate better, I started realizing, or having a revelation, that now all of a sudden your body is creating a communication structure that allows it to communicate and do what it's meant to do, which is heal itself from the inside out. And I think that for most of the things in life, we've been focused on the outside, like heaven's up there. And whatever I'm injecting in my body is coming from the outside. So we have that focus on everything outside of us instead of focusing on what's in us. And that's where the real treasure is. Your healing is there, manifestation is there, because if you basically can have a vision of something, you focus, you raise your vibration and frequency to that level and match it, manifestation starts happening. So one of the things I see as an incredible, amazing gift with this whole thing with ASEA is that it's allowing our bodies to do what it was originally meant to do. Manifest the healing. It comes from the inside, and also the things that we desire in terms of just having an abundant life, having a good life, and then also just raising our vibration coming from the inside in terms of things that actually make us happy and just fulfilling. So anyway, you can address that.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I totally couldn't agree with you more. And again, it's when people go to try this, your link's there. So generally what happens is when we're having these conversations, people run to the links and they do that. When people go to try this, just go in with the thought process that it's not a product, it's an experience. You're about to have an experience. Your life's going to change. Your life as you know it, if you do this properly, will never be the same. And I mean that in a very good way. You know what I mean? Like, and Edward, you mentioned about the vibration. It's really hard to not manifest cool stuff when you're vibrating at a high level. When you're at that, we say this all the time. It's like people hit the they hit the spike and they vibrate high, and everybody has those amazing moments. Not everybody knows how to sustain those moments. That's the hardest part. So ASEA in and of itself, and is the only thing that I've witnessed. I don't know, Danielle, what do you think? I mean, I don't know anything else that just has ever has allowed us to sustain at this level with this consistency, and just unlocks.
Yeah.
You know?
I know, it's beautiful. I've not come across anything else that does this either. And it's amazing because, Jay, like this, it does something different for each of us, right? So you were talking, Edward, about, you know, the kingdom of God was within us. And when you said that, what came to me was like this actually activates the doctor within. So these molecules that we're talking about, let me just, you know, he mentioned I'm a biologist. I always get a little bit more into the details of it. So you guys have some context. These molecules are the signaling system. Like when you have damage, I don't know if you guys ever wondered, but if you cut yourself, like how does your body know to go to that spot? You know, how does it find that location to repair? Like we watch it repair, but how does it know? It does because when there's damage, maybe it's from trauma, maybe it's just an old cell, maybe it's a mutated cell, a call for help goes out. That's how the body knows to come and repair. And as we get older, that call gets weaker because as we get older, we have less of this. And so we start to, as Jay's saying, you know, our vibration is not as high. Our body's not as strong. We start to have other things creep into our bodies. You know, we don't see a lot of disease in kids. We see it more as you age. I know, Jay, your wife, April, always says like she turned 50 and it was like the wheels started to come off. Stuff just started happening. And it's because we don't have that signal. It's not as strong. And so what we have with ASEA is the ability to put that signal back in our body, to put our body in the way that it was intended and created, and to have a strong way for your system to regulate itself, to heal itself, to repair where you need it. And so what it's going to do for you, let's say you're somebody that has a challenge right now, like I did. I was in a very bad car accident. I had an injury to my brain. Doctors told me it was my new normal. I started taking the redox. Well, what happened? It started to go where I had damage. It started to repair. And so the results of that were after a few months, I started to feel better than I'd felt in 2 years. And I started to get my health back. Maybe you don't have an issue. Maybe you're an athlete. Maybe you push yourself in a big, big way. This is cleared by the Olympic Committee. If you think about what athletes are doing, they're just damaging their muscle to build it back stronger. Well, this helps that repair process happen faster. Okay, so there's a whole spectrum of how this can support. And what I love, Jay, about you and your journey with this is like, you were healthy, you were doing all the things with your system, but you still felt like, is there more? I wonder if there's more. You started taking ASEA and you found it. Like it takes your body into the next level. And it's been so fun to watch over the last 5 months, that journey with you, and like there's a glow that's gotten about you and what you've been able to create in the space you hold. I mean, it's powerful. And Edward, you're just at the start of your journey. And, you know, I've been on this journey for 8 years. So I know what you all are about to see in the years to come. But it's just a blessing. And Edward, I'm grateful that you asked me to come on here and just share a little bit with your friends about this.
Yeah, definitely. I think what happened along this line, Danielle, when I was listening to Elixir of the Gods, and then I heard your story, it related back to my daughter. Now, interestingly enough, my daughter was, you know, she played all 3 sports. She played volleyball, softball, basketball. I mean, basically one word that could sum her up was fierce. She also, you know, was working a part-time job. She made National Honor Society. I mean, just an amazing individual. I mean, I consider my daughter an amazing individual, but when she went to San Diego State, what I began to notice, she would begin to have migraine headaches. And then all of a sudden she would have these gut issues and they would come out of nowhere. We would have her go to the doctor, but they didn't have any explanation. They said, well, maybe you ate something wrong or whatever. And when I'm living in 2 places now. I have a place here in Denver where my business is located. And then also I have an additional place in Las Vegas where we're expanding our business. She was beginning to have situations where she would call me in the middle of the night. She said, Dad, I'm having these incredible migraine headaches. Also, my leg is going numb. You know, my foot, I don't know what's going on. So it scared me as a parent. So one of the things we started talking about is, well, maybe we're going to have you go in to see a neurologist and then see what we can find. But I started restructuring everything because I'm going like, okay, this could run into, I have, God only knows. So I just started restructuring things, preparing for that. All of a sudden, I had seen Elixir of the Gods before pass through my feed, but I just, for some reason, something told me, listen to that show. And so when I turned that on, and I was listening to the experience of Jay, but it was you, Danielle, where I started seeing the correlation between you and my daughter. It was like she's always kind of had these subtle migraines, but for whatever reason, the intensity had increased when she was in college, and it was beginning to affect, her freshman year in a sense. So once I've been on the ASEA for about a month, a little over a month, and then about several weeks ago, I got my daughter on. Well, one of the things that I noticed, because a friend of mine they had gone shopping once, and the friend texted me and said, I don't know, this is pretty strange. Your daughter's 19 years old, but all of a sudden she's feeling like she needs to take naps in the afternoon. And that's just, very characteristic of a 19-year-old. And I said, yeah, I agree. I may have to, maybe make an appointment for her really quick in terms of getting her into the doctor. We're going to just run over things and see what's wrong. Because they're not telling us anything right now. They're just saying we don't see anything. So I got her on the ASEA, and one of the significant things, and I was very quiet about it. I didn't, I just, only thing I would say, have you taken your ASEA this morning? Have you taken it this afternoon? She was doing that consistently. But what I noticed is she stopped complaining about the migraines. And this was just a really quiet thing. It wasn't like I was poking around trying to find out how you feeling or anything like that. It was like, all of a sudden I noticed that she wasn't complaining about the headaches. All of a sudden, I noticed that the depression, she was kind of starting to go into a feeling of sort of depression, which I hadn't seen before. That started rising. It was like a vibration in her was just coming up and up and up. She was a little happier each day. One of the things that she even did, she even initiated on her own, and she went and got a part-time job. I had been planning on teaching her some things in terms of my business and teaching her about business, but she just took the initiative. I want to just get out, start meeting people. So she just got hired as a hostess for a place in Las Vegas. And, my daughter right now, I think she's going through this process. She's not getting super excited about it. She's just noticing I got more energy now. And so I'm just wondering, I can't wait to see what it's going to be like for her to be on it for 90 days, or even including myself, because even for me, I began to notice that my vibration had begun to rise where all of a sudden I got people out of nowhere coming up to me, just saying, hey, I love your sunglasses, or that shirt you got on, that's pretty cool, man. And then just people just engaging me in conversation. That never happened before. It only happened after I started taking ASEA. Now, with me, in terms of running my business, and then I have a lot on my plate in terms of another business that I'm trying to get off the ground, I was beginning to have just energy issues. And then as you age and you get older, I began to notice I had pains that I didn't have before. That was before. I mean, if I had to stand around all day, I had to take at least 4 Advils just to get through the day because my feet would start hurting me or my ankles because I played ball, in school. But all those old injuries were starting to come back. And my sleep wasn't as good as, I've never had a problem sleeping, but my sleep was getting worse. I started taking ASEA, pain went away. It was absolutely amazing. Now that blew my mind. The pain in my foot went away. My sleep increased significantly. And then also it's just the vibration. It just seemed like I started thinking about things that, hey, I want this to come into my life. And then it would just start manifesting. And it was just things were, and Jay, like I told you about the fact that I had gotten accepted to be one of the original 100 at Oricon 4. I know I really wanted that because for Las Vegas, that's where it started for me. In 2008, I lost everything and I had to build everything back up from scratch. So same thing happened to the founder, Garrett J. White. He was in Las Vegas at the same time. Everything got wiped out. His marriage almost, they almost had a divorce. Just lost millions of dollars. I mean, this was 2000. It wiped a lot of people. I mean, it hit us hard. But he's built that organization up to where it says now, multi-million-dollar guy, got a beautiful beach home, in Dana Point. But our lives were parallel. And he had a situation with his son. I had a situation with my daughter. And all of these things start healing themselves. But what Warrior allowed me to do was build a vehicle. And I've worked really hard to build that vehicle. And it's a step-by-step process, because in Warrior, it's not just about dreaming where you want to go. You decide where you want to go, have a vision, and then they give you the steps in the program to make those steps towards what you want. And what I discovered, I began to build this vehicle and my life was slowly changing. But when I discovered ASEA, it's almost like everything is speeding up to light speed. And it was like I built a Lamborghini, but ASEA was the fuel. And that's been my experience so far with ASEA. So,
When you mentioned Warrior, and and that's the thing, and I'm speaking from a guy's perspective, just in general. We're all many of us are type A personalities. It's very, you know what I mean, that world as a guy, right? Especially business people. You need an edge in today's world. If you're going to be a warrior, you need an edge. You need a competitive edge. And that's a struggle that a lot of business people find out. And I'm just kind of tagging on what you said, Edward, but that's a struggle that a lot of business people find, is that they don't know, they can't find those ways to be creative, to reinvent themselves, to get themselves noticed outside of the pack. Like how do you break that pack, right? I will absolutely say, without a shadow of a doubt, I mean, 1,000,001%, ASEA gives you the competitive edge, because it opens up things in your brain. It opens up things physically. Like, I'll give you an example. Like, if you are physically uncomfortable, well, if you're not physically uncomfortable, then your mind can now start to think the way it needs to be. Then there's the part about where it'll open up your brain. It'll open up parts of yourself that's going to allow you to be successful. So I really, I say this too. There's the obvious health benefits of this whole thing, which is absolutely in of itself beautiful. But then the prosperity side of it, you asked me about it earlier when we first started here. In 2022, going forward, it is going to be crucial, if you are a legitimate business person, that you have some sort of technology like ASEA, because you're going to need something that helps you think and focus and keeps your eye on the prize all the time. It's not like a supplement or anything like that. It's getting your body clear. It's getting it concise. It's getting it connected to where it needs to be. That's what it does. So, and I'm noticing not just me in April, Danielle, I know we have a lot of people. We're going to go to, an event here soon. We're going to be meeting a lot of these people. These people, Edward, are just, they're leveled up. I mean, they're leveled up. They have done it. I mean, I deal in the world, of psychics and spiritual guides and all that stuff, and everybody tapped into the unknown, the abstract. And, I can tell you this, after interviewing over 2,000 of them, I can tell you this, that the ones that come to us and say, hey, they could be at the top of their game from a perception, but they come to us and they say, look, when we take this ASEA, we are so much better. We are so much better for our clients. We make a lot more money in our business because our accuracy points are right on. Their level of discernment is a lot stronger. So there's that part of it too that I really want to really highlight for those people out there, because there's one part, the mind, body, spirit, they call it that for a reason. It's all got to connect. You know what I mean? You got mind, you got body, you got spirit, and prosperity. If any one of those are disconnected, then you're not flowing with source. You're not part of the source. They got to connect somehow.
Well, I'm gonna add to that, Jay, because during the pandemic, the business I have, which is Boss Ticket Exchange, it was literally shut down for a year and a half. And one of the things that when I started, I had a long time to think. And one of the things I realized, hey, I don't want to come out of this with just one stream of income anymore. I'm going to create multiple streams of income. And then I did a lot of reading, listened to a lot of people in terms of just real, true producers. And what I discovered is most of the multimillionaires usually have 7 streams of income on an average. And during that period, I utilized that time to learn real estate, cryptocurrency, and then I'm gonna do some more investing in terms of small apartment buildings. But I began to realize that I think that this is pushing us towards. I think that's part of the 5D economy. We have to think in terms of multiples. And one of the things that I think ASEA helped me see, I was on that road, but it's like pushing me much farther and much faster. One of the things that also I think when we get into this whole thing about talking about vibration, two of the smartest men that I respect, Nikola Tesla and Albert Einstein, and both of them said that the universe is basically controlled by vibration and frequency. And it was interesting because I saw a quote by Albert Einstein this morning where he was saying the future of medicine is frequency. And all of a sudden, it just all these connections, not only are the connections happening to my cells, but now all of a sudden there's connection to my brain cells that are beginning to connect. And I'm starting to see the picture. I'm starting to see what the clues were, what these pioneers, these brilliant men were saying before. They were giving us clues. Even Jesus was giving us clues that everything that we want in life is inside of us, including the healing of our body. So I think that ASEA, in a sense, I can say it amplifies that. And I don't know, what's your thoughts on that, Danielle?
Yeah, I love that quote too. And everything's energy. Literally, ASEA, what it's doing in your system is electron transfer. It's the transfer of energy. It's bringing more energy into your system. And so when we talk about frequency, when we talk about vibration, of course, it's going to be raised when you bring in more electricity into the system, when you bring more, you're talking about from the biology standpoint, what's really going on. And then you get into the spiritual aspect of what that means and what we all know to be true, which is that when we hold a higher vibration, we attract in on that vibration, and it's a snowball that, it takes us up. It's a spiral really that takes us up. And I think with ASEA, I mean, there's a lot of, like Jay, I work with a lot of different healers that can sense things. And I'll never forget one, I was at a yoga institute and I had a roommate and I had the blue bottle, just like it is here. I had it on my nightstand. And after 3 days, the woman I was staying with said to me, Danielle, I hate to pry, but what is that blue bottle on your nightstand? Because when I walk in this room, I feel that before I feel you. And she said, it's so powerful. And my body is telling me that I need that in me. What is it? And I just started laughing because, I come to this as a biologist, from like what it's physically doing in the physical 3D body, right? And what the research has shown us and all of that. But there's so much more. And there's so much that we don't know that we don't know. And I will tell you what this has opened up, the types of people that are attracted in to work with this technology, to use it, that see these different layers of what it's doing for people's bodies. I mean, it's powerful. And the truth is, it's going to do something different for all of us, right? It's going to go into your system. It's going to help your system find, look, where are you damaged? Where are you not signaling properly? What's turned off that should be turned on? And it goes in and it has that communication within your cells. And it's non-specific. It's not like it's designed to help skin cells or heart cells or liver cells. It's just going to go where they're needed to go. And then your body, when those cells start to repair, well, that tissue starts to repair, that organ does, that system of the body feels better. And I tell people all the time, like ASEA has conferences, I've been going for years. I could sit in the lobby and I could probably tell you they're on ASEA, they're not. They're on ASEA, they're not. Because there's this glow that comes about you. And Jay started to get it. And Edward, I know that you're already starting with it, but like you just see this come across with people. And I don't know if it's because physical body hormones are modulating, right? And they're just in a better mood. Or is it this piece where the frequency is actually coming up and the physical being is holding a different vibration. And we sense that and we see that and we feel that. And it attracts people to you. So I'm like laughing as you're sharing that, people are noticing your sunglasses and your shirt and this and that. But when you hold a high vibration, people don't know. I mean, we're all energy, we're all connected. Some know more than others, they're intuitive, but people will be drawn to you in that way. I mean, it's so fun that you're experiencing that. But I think when you feel healthy, you can produce. So talking about, you wanting to have all these other streams of income, you got to be healthy in order to do that. And this is the next level of health. This is going to help your mind be sharper. I watched Jay and April make business decisions and it's like lightning speed. I mean, they're just boom, they're on. And their discernment is, as Jay always says, I mean, it's spot on. It's amazing. I'll hang up the phone with them and I'm like, wow, it's powerful. So, I think ASEA helps with all of those things. And just to touch on as well, talking about, with business, when I had my brain injury, when I was hit by that drunk driver and I lost my health 10 years ago, as I was getting my health back, like you, I said, never again. I don't want to be in a situation where my income is tied to one thing. that I said, I don't want it to be tied to my time. I want to be able to do something where I can create an income, even if I can't physically put time in somewhere. And so I started, like you, asking questions. How is that possible? Where can you do that? Is that even a thing? You know, it's not what I was trained at in school. And I went to one of our top universities, but they taught me how to get a very good job. And I'll tell you, ASEA is this beautiful thing, because the company itself, this is a biotech company. The technology that we have, this redox signaling technology, is patented. It's been around for 13 years. You know, it is something that is powerful, but the genesis of it, where it all started, was that they were going to sell this technology and the patents to a pharmaceutical company. And that pharma company made it very clear they wanted to make a large offer, but that they were going to have to shut down their beta test group and their production of it when they went through with the offer. And the gentleman in charge, he had a bad feeling about it. He said, I don't think they're going to be bringing this to market in the way that it deserves to be. And he walked away from the deal. He said, I'm not doing this buyout. This is something humanity needs to have. And so then he spent some time trying to figure out, how do you strategically bring something like this to market that no one's ever heard of, that makes no sense, that sounds too good to be true, right? And looks like it's made from saline. How do you do that? And he said, word of mouth. So he founded ASEA as a network marketing company. And it's so beautiful, because to me, that's the second gift that we all get. We can literally align ourselves with this mission, help other people learn about that. And through doing that, we create abundance for ourselves and then abundance for them. And it's this beautiful thing. You know, Jay always talks about it as the 5D economy, in that you're helping other people become abundant as you're becoming abundant. And it's just like, it's all tied together so beautifully. And it only happens, you only earn in proportion to lives you're touching and people you're helping, you know, live a better life, get their health back, change their families, change the dynamics in their world. It's a beautiful thing to be involved with. And, you know, I would say that if something happened to me again, God forbid it, I'm pretty sure, you know, Jay is going to continue to buy ASEA. And that means that that piece of income will still come to me. And this, like, the ripple effect of that is, it's beyond anything that anyone can really think about. Certainly me. I mean, 8 years involved in it. Like, I saw it, but now I'm seeing it on a different level. And, you know, it's like, okay, I've touched thousands, but it's going to be tens of thousands. It will be millions. It's amazing what you can do here.
I also want you to speak on this, Danielle, because if you could explain, because we've talked about ASEA, which is the blue bottle, but let's talk about the amazing thing with the white tube in terms of the gel. Is that?
I've got that right next to me all the time. So yeah, the liquid, that blue bottle, that's where it all started. And then people started putting it in spray bottles, actually, including myself, and they were spraying it on their skin. And they were seeing results with their skin, right? Because our skin's our largest organ, and it's just tons of cells. And so people were seeing that, you know, wrinkles were starting to improve. Their elasticity was getting better. They were, you know, putting it on areas of concern, and all of a sudden they're repairing. And so they asked the company to make a topical, which took them 5 years, because these molecules are so crazy reactive. I mean, it's like capturing a spark and, you know, stabilizing it and putting it in a bottle. So trying to get it more concentrated to put into a gel proved to be a little difficult, but they did it. And that's what this is, Renew 28. It's a redox gel. And it was, you know, originally they did the research on the skin. So you can see all these studies about what it's doing, you know, for those things, sun damage, cellulite, that sort of thing. But the coolest part, Edward, is when we got it on our hands and we started to play with it, and we realized, wow, this does more than just, you know, work on the surface. It goes deeper. So I always tell people, look, if you want to learn that this is real and you want to get an experience with this quickly, instant gratification, right? Find an area where you've got discomfort. Really find 10 people that have discomfort. Everybody does around you. Maybe they woke up with a, you know, crink in their neck, their knee's not working, their shoulder doesn't go up like it used to, whatever it is. Have them rub the gel on 3 times within 5 minutes. And then rate their discomfort again. Test that range of motion again. And it's amazing. You know, Jay's now come to some live events. He's seen it in person. And it's like 9 out of 10 people have a wonderful response with this. And I just encourage people, you try it. You see what it's going to do. But this stuff's like first aid in a tube to me. I keep it by me. There's no max amount. It's like you're putting construction workers on the job site. Like, there's no downside to send 5 guys on the job rather than 2. Right? Just the job's going to get done faster. And the more you put this on, it's like that repair process is just signaled louder and louder and louder, and allows your system to go where it needs to go and do what it's designed to do. Right? This doesn't do any healing. Your body does. This just tells the body where to go.
Jay, Tell you, your wife sometimes just cracks me up when I'm watching the show. But one of the things that she said, and I almost couldn't stop laughing for a while. She said, in terms of the white tube, she said, in terms of the gel, if I could bathe in it, I would. So, it just, I think that just the feeling it gives you. Like I said, I would have these chronic pains in my foot, and these were just injuries that I had from playing ball years ago. Um, I'll apply it 3 times in 5 minutes, and I'll stand up because I want to go downstairs, in my gym and work out. And I'm amazed. I think the other day I was completely amazed because it was a very, very intense acute pain. And I did the whole process, applied it, let it dry, applied it, let it dry, applied it, let it dry about 5 minutes. Stood up. I felt like I was walking on feathers.
Yeah.
It was just absolutely amazing.
It works. I mean, like I said, look at it very pragmatically. Okay. You're going to look at a couple of different things. You're going to look at number one, first and foremost, I mean, on the checklist of life is you got to feel good, right? So check, this can get us there. Check. Then once you feel good, now what do you do with that good feeling? And that's a matter of like, hey, is now like, is now the time maybe for people in there, what do we call, Edward, their accumulation years, which means they still have the ability to work physically, mentally, spiritually, they have the ability to work. Now do they accumulate wealth? So that's step 2. They think about it that way. Step 3 is to find out, well, how am I going to accumulate one of my 7 streams of income? You know what I mean? Well, again, smart business, if you would say, well, listen, why not do something that every human being in the planet needs? And there just so happens to be one company that seems to solve that solution. Wow. That's a hell of an opportunity from that standpoint, right? So, it doesn't matter where you're at in life. I mean, I've seen this company from, consultants to doctors to biologists to someone just sitting at home saying, I just want this stuff paid for. And I mean, it covers the whole spectrum of this thing. But, we want to be really take this opportunity to be really realistic with people. Yeah. People don't feel good a lot of times because they're not necessarily, they don't always necessarily where they're at. They're not necessarily happy where they're at a lot of times. I mean, there's extenuating circumstances like what Danielle happened. I mean, it was out of our control at that moment. But generally, people get into a funk, and this helps you break the funk. And if it's helping you break the funk, me and April took on this as an obligation. We did. We really did. We didn't even think about too much of the business side of it. As a matter of fact, I still ask Danielle all the time, like, well, what does this mean to me? You know what I mean? And we did it as an obligation. We felt it. April was attracted to the white right out of the gates. I mean, more so than I was. It took me longer. I just didn't pay attention to it. To me, I was attracted to the blue. So either way, we both felt that we had a real obligation to share this with humanity. Okay, we're like, look, you can have a better existence out there. There is hope out there. There's something real out there. This is no longer just talk. Guess what we just found? So when you know that you found that kind of guess what we just found solution for people, you got to share it. I mean, if you're, in my opinion, if you're a decent soul, decent spirit, it's really one of those things in our lifetime, that you really want to be able to at least let people know of. Yeah. Because it's the right thing to do, because people they're not able to wonder why there's a missing link and they can't connect the dots. This seems to really have solved that solution for so many people.
Well, one of the things I was going to say along that line, Jay, I think it seems also, and I noticed this, that ASEA is attracting good souls. Because the thing about it is, if you have this kind of experience, you'd have to be a very selfish person not to share it with anyone.
I believe so.
Yeah. And that's the thing. I mean, like, I'm having this. The greatest miracle to me has been my daughter. I mean, I've had my own personal miracle. I am having my own personal miracle. I can't wait till I hit 90 days because I'm doing Magic 8.
Right on.
But it's the thing about it is I'm going like, it's almost like bursting out of me. I got to tell somebody about this. I got to tell somebody how good I'm feeling. I'm starting to feel like I'm 28 now.
Yeah.
And I got this, the energy is blowing my mind. It used to be, how it is sometimes when you're trying to get up at 5:30 in the morning And sometimes your head hits back and feel, I can't do this. I can't do this again. But now it's like this morning is like boom, right up. And
Yeah.
let's go. Let's go. I mean, let's go. Let's go find something. Let's go destroy something.
It's great, isn't it, man? It's like you're so connected to life. You really are. You really your view of life is different. You know, I mean, you get out of your own way. You break out of the shell. You tap into whatever is there for you. But you know, you're right, man. You do. I mean, I can't. When I wake up in the morning, man, I am ready to go. I am excited to start. I can't wait to see what the universe has in store for me. You know, it's a very exciting thing. It's like a theme park ride. You know.
I think also what I'm beginning to notice, I'm kind of like accumulating a list because I'm trying to do so much and I'm trying to put myself in terms of this launch with the ASEA and get it out to people. So like I'm accumulating this list. I've had to tell people, listen, I'm going to have to talk to you on Tuesday, Thursday, whatever. At the same time, it's drawing in more business towards my company. Like all of a sudden I'm getting these calls. Some guy got my card and he wants to do like a luxury suite at one of the NFL games. And so all of these things are happening coming out of the blue and I'm not doing anything. I'm just doing two things primarily foundationally. I'm taking 4 ounces in the morning and 4 ounces in the evening. And then I'm just waiting. I'm like watching magic happen.
You know, Danielle mentioned something about athletes. Danielle, like as athletes, they take supplements, they take the protein powders and, all that goes along with that. I mean, think about this as a business. This is like your business supplement of sorts. You know what I mean? Because it sharpens your saw. Like you said, all of a sudden, you're just not doing much different. I think you are. You're sharpening your saw, and you're not letting your vibes go to a place that distracts that money from you, that other level of abundance, whether it's ASEA or other parts of your business that you have. Your mind no longer goes there. And that's the thing that people got to really realize when they come to, and I'm sure you got a lot of entrepreneurs that are going to watch this one. So I hope they grab onto this one, is that, the key again to abundance is to be able to sustain an energy that's going to attract that abundance. And then people will pick up on that vibe from you. If you can't sustain that, you get one little hiccup along the road that'll get you right there. People are going to feel that from you. And you all know that happens to everybody. With ASEA, your business best friend, you won't feel that. You don't feel those bumps along the road like that. Yeah, they happen. I'm not going to say they don't happen, but they happen. If they do happen, for the most part, you don't even notice that they're there a lot after a minute. You know what I mean? You just kind of go through them, and the next thing you know, they're not there. Next thing you know, they're out of your thing. Next thing you know, you're in 5D. Next thing you know, you're attracting abundance from everywhere, from all levels, from 7 different places, 7 times 7, multiplied by 7, because you're at a different place there, man.
You know what, Jay and Danielle? This is my perspective has changed, and I didn't think about it because I think that some of us, when we're going, we kind of neglect our health, and then that is going to be the first thing that trips us up. And one of the things that came to my mind and I started thinking about, because I started reframing everything that was happening in my life, my greatest wealth is my health. It starts with that, because if I can't continue on, if I neglect my health, if I can't heal, if I have some kind of tragic situation that goes awry with my health, it stops everything. It doesn't matter. The businesses don't matter. Whatever you got going is not going to matter, because all of a sudden your health, whatever disease or whatever's coming against you, is saying, hey, I don't know what your plans were tomorrow, but it stops today.
Yeah.
And so I have reframed and thought, my number one wealth in my life is my health. Number 2, my family. And then number 3, all the other gifts and treasures that comes with that.
Yep, absolutely, man. Absolutely, man. Your body's a temple. If you treat it like a temple, celebrate life and life will celebrate you. And this is life right here. This is what we're born with. We can, do all that, right? So just celebrate it, make it work, gets better, and everything gets better as a result of it. Life is better with this stuff, man. For whatever reason, life is better with stuff. So just, pull up your big boy pants and girl pants and go to the damn thing and get it, because you're going to be better with it, for real. Get out of your own way. Get out of your own way and really power down on this. Have a better
Danielle, I do have another thing that I want to ask you, a question rather. And this was very impactful to me. I mean, I heard your story, I heard Jay's story, but I would say the icing on the cake for me was Dr. Silverman. Dr. David Silverman, I mean, he just like knocked it out of the park, because when he talked about it with authority, it just made sense to me. And then that's when my mind started racing and going like, wait a minute, we're trying to get injections, we're trying to do all of these artificial things to heal our bodies or make it better. But if we just put something inside our body so it could naturally heal itself, maybe we got all this wrong. Because I think we've been thinking or been focusing or told to focus on the outside, where now all of a sudden the product itself is getting you to turn inside and focus on what's there. So tell me how you met Dr. Silverman, because I'm very curious about that. I always have been curious about that. And then you can kind of go from there.
Yeah, so it's interesting. He's the reason that we're all here today. So Dr. Silverman found out about this from his friend, Debbie Wexler. She reached out to him and said, look, I've come across something that I love you and I care about you. You need to know it exists. And unbeknownst to her, David's father was having some issues with his prostate and pretty serious issues. And so David was searching for options. Didn't want to do what,
Yes.
So started searching, and it was interesting because he started using the technology with his dad. He didn't believe in himself, didn't take it himself, but he started referring people because his dad was improving through these treatments. He was improving, and started seeing other people start to improve. And all of a sudden he saw someone have skin lesions fall off of like their armpit. And he was like, well, that's not a placebo. What is this stuff? And he flew out to the company. He had done network marketing before and had kind of been burned. I think the industry can be indicted sometimes for when it's done wrong, when too much ego is involved, the economics are the focus of it and not people centered. And he met the founders of this company, realized that they were founded in integrity, that they had said no to a buyout, that they had said yes to people. And he aligned himself with this. And so through that, he shared it with another doctor friend of his, who's a urologist in Annapolis, Maryland. That doctor shared it with a sister, who shared it with somebody, who shared it with somebody, who shared it with an acupuncturist that knew my mom. And she's the one that reached out to share the redox with us. And then when I started to have my experience, we started to ask questions. We were referred to go to an event, and Dr. Silverman was there at that event presenting. And that was how we all, originally got connected. And, then I decided to partner with the company as well. I kind of had the same thought that Jay had, which is like, well, everyone needs to know about this. It's like I'm inside. David says it all the time. It's like I'm like a kid in a candy store that got in when like no one else knows the store's here, and we're in here going like, holy cow, everyone should be in here. Everyone needs this. So we're telling people, and in doing that, he and I swear it's like he's become like a family member. And it's a beautiful thing that we get to do, and he's been a blast to work with and learn from. And I mean, he is a doctor, so he has the medical knowledge about what this is, and can, as you said, can speak with authority about it, and people can go and listen to him. He has so many videos, but he also is an entrepreneur. He says he's psychologically unemployable, and so this opportunity to partner with ASEA was like perfect for him, to be able to have an impact beyond his own practice and make a ripple effect around the world. That now, like, he doesn't have to work; he shows up because he wants to, because he's passionate about this mission. He wants people to learn about it. And so, that's the work that we do together is solely because he's in the space of giving back and really wants passionately for other people to know that this is real and to give it a try to see what it can bring them.
Well, thank you so much, Danielle. I really appreciate that. And then also, Jay, in closing, Jay, what would you like to say in terms of this whole experience that we're all having?
Brother, I would like to say, first of all, thank you for having us on to share this experience with you, for real. And I just wish you all the love in the world on your next months, and I can't wait. I would say that, really just to tag on what we're doing right now is that, number one, just look at your life very pragmatically. Take it. It's going to help you, okay? It's not going to hurt you. Every human being in the planet needs it, so give it a go, but give it a go with an open mind. Don't don't have the walls up like this. breakthrough technology right now. It's a breakthrough of our lifetime. And often when you have a breakthrough of our lifetime, it's kind of strange when you think we're like, I'm even talking about it. I still kind of feel weird saying it's a breakthrough of our lifetime, because it's like you don't ever expect to have and talking in your hands a breakthrough of our lifetime, but we do. We just so happen to do it. So number one, know that. Number two, just what Danielle was saying, like not only about Dr. David, but others, herself. These are people here we have, and for those that are wanting that not only feel better, but those business people that want that additional streams of income, we have the royal lineage of the network marketing business. There's an example right there of Danielle Matthews right there with us. These are the top of the top of that, and their level of their level of just integrity and professionalism. There's not that weird stuff that comes along with all that. You know what I mean? It's just like, look, we're here to help. We're happy to help. We want you to feel good. And if you feel good, it's just going to naturally, like it's going to have that ripple effect. And that's just how this whole thing's approached. Step one, feel good. Step two, become abundant. Life will be better for you. Thanks, man.
Danielle, is there anything that in closing you'd like to say?
Oh, you're watching this for a reason. You know, this has entered your world for a reason. You drew us in. So I missed this when it came to me, right? Because I thought that my health and how I was going to get it back was going to show up in a different way. I didn't know it was coming in a blue bottle. I didn't know it was going to be called ASEA. I didn't know anything about redox. And I would say, look, this is coming to you for a reason. Dive in. See what it's going to bring you, see what it might mean to partner with us. And I can't wait to hear your success story and to see how this has impacted your life. And Edward, I just want to say thank you so much for showing up so fully and being so excited to get this into the hands of the people that you know and love and care about. And I can't wait to see, like Jay said, where it goes from here with you.
You know, Edward, if I can just add one more thing, man, is that the link scrolling down there with the contact phone number. We highly encourage people not to go to the website and try to figure it out themselves. Okay. Reach out to the phone number there, you know, because it is, again, groundbreaking technology. Have someone walk you through that initial phase, so you can experience what we're talking about. You know, so we can tell you, here's how you experience what we're speaking about.
Yeah, to add on to that, Jay, yeah, that's very important, because the website can get a little glitchy, and when you initially, you can make mistakes with it. So have someone walk you through it, so that basically you don't get the wrong product, or you get too much of it or pay too much, or you either paying retail price. So just contact me. I'll schedule a meeting with you, and you know, I'll bring in maybe Jay or Danielle, and we'll help you with it, get you through the process, and get you going. So anyway, as far as all of my guests, I want to thank you, my friends, Jay and Danielle. I really appreciate you. Also say hello to your lovely wife as well, Jay. And I just really appreciate you guys. It was just a true honor, and especially with you coming on, Danielle, and especially everything that you do. You and April was spiritually raw. So thank you very much. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, brother. Thank you. Much love to you.
All right.